Hi, my loves. Welcome back to another episode of The Rosey Life. So today I want to talk to you about desire and why we have them and why they are meant to be, why what you want wants you. This is going to make a lot more sense by the end of this video. So that is my intention for all of you. So stick around until the end because I want to bring in a lot of things that will make logical sense, not just because I said so sense. All right. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Rose and I am a success and confidence coach. I love to help people get out of their own way so that they can have whatever the hell they want. And why I call myself a success and confidence coach, I just want to say something about that. I want to see you succeed in anything in your life. I want you to feel successful. I want you to know what it means, what it feels like, what it looks like for you, whether that means starting a business, having a relationship, feeling successful within yourself in no matter what you do, a recipe or whatever it is that you want to do. I want you to be successful, not just think and say it, okay? And the confidence is key. Confidence is the key. It is your magic, right? Because when we feel confident in ourselves, we are unstoppable. And when you lack confidence in yourself, then you feel like it's hard and then you're chasing techniques and tools left and right. So confidence is so important, and neither of these are difficult to obtain if you have determination and focus, right? Because that is what it's required to change your self-concept. And if you want something a little bit more structured than just watching random YouTube videos and soaking up more information one after the other, right? Information is free and abundant. Let's get real. But the real magic and transformation happens when you transform. So if you need a little bit more structured guidance, one, I'm available for one-on-one coaching, and two, I do have a self-concept makeover course that lasts up to 30 days, and you get videos and emails sent to you for you to do homework, for you to do assignments, so you apply these self-concept concepts into your life, all right? So let me know if you have any questions. You can always email me at rose@roseylife.com, all right? So, or rather go to my website, rose@roseylife.com, and you get all the information about my coaching and the self-concept makeover course and so many wonderful things coming. All right, so let's get into this. So I was inspired to do this video actually for several days now, maybe several weeks, but I was watching a nature show, and if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix, and it's by Barack Obama. He narrates the national parks of the world, and it's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest that you do it. But there's so many things that I have goosebumps just thinking about all the analogies that come out of nature and all the analogies that come out of what is here on earth for us. And I want to share with you a couple of those things. And I was talking to a friend earlier too, and I was sharing with her about these things. And we were talking about desire and how she was saying, like, no, we can't possibly have a desire just to be teased by the universe, right? Whatever it is that you're wanting, whatever it is that you're manifesting, you're not being teased by some weird God universe and saying, haha, I'm just gonna let them think that they can have this, but it's just never gonna happen. That is not the case. Desires are actually not, in my personal view of this, desires are not even ours. Desires actually come from our higher self wanting to fulfill more expansion, more creation on this earth. So if none of us had a desire, everyone would be stagnant and nothing else would evolve. We would not be walking around with iPhones, okay? We would not be walking around with Bluetooth. We would not be using internet anywhere in the world. We would not be able to do remote work from home. We would not be able to do a lot of things. We wouldn't have medicine. We wouldn't have a lot of things. So desires are actually a required thing from the universe, from our existence to be fulfilled. And the way that people create cool shit, like our computers or electricity or anything that you are utilizing today, it all came from a desire. It came from a thought, a curious question, or just wanting something, wanting to have something, wanting to experience something. And we have desires and dreams, and we create goals because we at the present moment are not experiencing those things. So we must have dreams and desires and wants. So because we are not having those and we're not experiencing those right now, so we are given desires so that we expand. So dreams and goals are natural, and I want you to start telling yourself that, because desires are part of the universal intelligence. It's part of nature's evolution. So this is normal to have a desire. You're not being teased. You're not being like, oh, you can want this all day long, but you're not going to get it kind of thing. No, those are just additional beliefs and stories that you tell yourself. No, if you have a desire, one, it is on purpose. It's part of the universal plan, okay, for expansion. And two, here is what I look at desires as. Your desire is needed to be fulfilled. Why? Because with the fulfillment of your desire, whatever it is, even if it's a chocolate, even if it's a relationship, a new car, $1 million, whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you're like, I want this, right? I want this in my life, or I want to have this, I want to taste this, I want to hear this. Whatever it is, every time you allow yourself to receive a desire, and by allow, I mean allow it to manifest without fighting it with it. I can't have it, it's not possible, it's not going to happen, whatever it is, however it is that you're in your way, okay? When we allow our desires to be fulfilled, we are actually participating in the universal, I call it the domino effect, okay? So for example, my desire, whatever it is, let's say my desire to be a multimillionaire is, I am one of the dominoes in the larger scheme of all the domino effects. So when my desire is fulfilled, it tips on to the next person, to the next person's desire, to the next another person's wish fulfilled, right? So I see my desires as helping everyone else have their desires too. If I refrain from allowing myself to have a desire, that too impacts and affects other people in different ways that we don't know, okay? It impacts them and how their desires come, or how fast their desires come, all of those things. So if you look at yourself as, I am responsible for allowing myself to receive my desires, because in the doing so, I am participating in this larger scale with the universal intelligence to have my desires, and it allows everyone else. So I am helping this on a bigger scale for everyone to experience something. It doesn't matter, it's not my problem, but it's all connected. Because think about it, if I want an ice cream, right, the store owner is probably sitting there and have manifested more sales. Well, I contributed to the sales and gave him more money, right? The people that create the milk and the sugar and the chocolate and all those things, ingredients for the ice cream owner to sell ice cream, right? They're also hoping that they get more sales for their sugar or for their chocolate or for strawberries or whatever. So those farmers or those industry people with their products, they're wanting to sell too, and so on. Okay, so this is what I mean by the domino effect. So if I want an ice cream, I give myself the ice cream because I know that I'm contributing not just to the vendors, to that process, right? But for the happiness of that ice cream shop owner feeling so happy that they got another customer, right? And then I get fulfilled because I'm enjoying my ice cream, and now that little ice cream just put me in a great mood, and now I'm skipping around and I'm just feeling myself, and then boom, here comes another desire, another manifestation, because I'm in this like fun, loving, neutral place. Do you see? So everything is on purpose. Now, going back to the national parks show that I watch on Netflix, it's a new one with Obama narrating. There was wanted to share two stories out of that because I just love nature, and I love how it just it's just proof of how powerful we are and how tiny we are in this whole bigger process, that for us to doubt and question that we can have something, or to doubt and question of our desires, okay? Because I want you to feel so good about wanting what it is that you are manifesting, or wanting the business that you want, or wanting the health or the body or whatever, because you don't have to figure out what the domino effect is. I just want to give you a different perspective on desire so that you feel good about it and you allow yourself to relax and receive. So one of the stories in the natural park show was they show all these different animals, okay, in these different parks around the world. And one of the parks, I'm not sure which episode this was, but there was a sloth, and my son was actually watching the show with me, and it was this massive sloth, right? And it's a three-fingered sloth, I think they call it. And my son was sitting there while they were just showing it, moving around. Nothing was being said yet. And my son said, "What's the point of the sloth?" Because then the narrator started talking about how it takes a sloth like a month to metabolize one leaf. So the sloth is very picky and selective about the leaf it picks to eat, because, and also it's blind, it's partly blind, it's almost blind. So they use their nose and their other senses to select the freshest, crispiest, yummiest leaf. And then when they eat it, it actually takes them a whole month to metabolize, which is why they're really big and they don't have a lot of energy. They don't hardly move, all right? So they were talking about this, and my son said something. He's like, "What's the point of a sloth?" He's like, "They don't even have a freaking purpose." He's like the world is like gonna be okay if we miss out on sloths. It's like, what's their purpose? And I looked at him and I'm like, just wait. And then literally after I said that, then Obama started narrating about the sloths, right? That we think that they don't have much purpose or in what they do because they don't move, right? They barely move, and they move so freaking slow, like they're screwed if some animal were to come and get them because they can't move fast. And they metabolize slow. They are blind. They have all these issues, okay, supposedly. But here's the cool shit about what I learned, right? Is that in the fur of the sloth, there's a lot of algae and bacteria. That algae and bacteria not only has already been proven to have benefits for anti-cancer medications, but it also has produced the bacteria needed for antibiotics like penicillin and different, and I'm not sure about the penicillin, but different antibiotics is what he said, for to create medicine, because of the hair, the fur on the sloth is super thick and dense, and it's really dirty because it doesn't go anywhere, and it gets rained on in the jungles, and then it just sits there in the sun, and it creates this bacteria. Well, that bacteria actually has been creating medicine for us. The other thing that fur is, with that dense bacteria in it, It houses up to 97 breeds of insects, where 97 breeds, think about it, 97 different kinds of breeds of insects live in the sloth's fur. Because of the bacteria, it feeds all of these insects. So these insects have a home. They know to go to the sloth to live there because the sloth's not going to move a lot, and they all get to be fed. Okay, so, and there was other things that they were saying about the sloth's purpose. And I looked over at my son after that. He was just like, he got quiet because he was like, okay. And I said, when you look at nature, okay, when you just look at nature, you see how beautifully and perfectly orchestrated that earth is. Everything has a purpose. Every insect, every animal, everything, even the things that you think don't have a purpose, they do. So I wanted to share that because it's such a beautiful way to look at our universe, to look at Earth, because it is showing you none of these insects or animals or anything, none of them are worried about where they're going to get food. None of them are worried about where their next drink of water is going to come from or where they're going to sleep. They're just instinctually drawn to the sloth's fur. The sloth is instinctually drawn to a tree where it will get sun and water, right? The llamas, the tigers, all the animals on the earth, they already have a home. They're not in like survival mode all the time. They're not worried about what they're going to eat. If they are threatened, then they instinctually know to run. Okay, but everything is feeding each other and helping each other. And who the hell do you think is orchestrating all of that? There's no director, no teacher. The animal kingdom doesn't have its own government or society or set of rules or laws for them to. No, they're naturally out there living and being themselves. And for example, another example too is like we're watching these birds fly, these massive falcons, right? Yeah. And they were trying to think of they were vultures. They're vultures. And he was saying, he's like, oh my God, vultures are evil and they're disgusting. But when you hear about what a vulture's role is, the vulture's role is they eat the dead carcasses and they eat the dead to clean up the area so that it doesn't leave disease behind and it doesn't leave things for other animals to eat and get sick off. So the vulture even being, is like, they look kind of gross and scary in my opinion, but they even have a purpose, and they're like the cleanup crew. They clean up everything so that everything else and everyone else around has a clean place to be. So do you see how beautiful this is? So if the animals and the insects and trees and flowers, if they're not concerned about where they're going to get something, well, think about it. There is a Bible verse that Neville even quotes, and it's a beautiful Bible verse, and it talks about, look at the lilies of the field, look at the birds in the air. They do not worry about where they will get water or food from because they know that they are always provided for. So they're too busy just being, because they know water, food, shelter, whatever it is that they need, it's there. It's just there. There's no need to control it or figure it out. It's just there. It's that pureness, okay? And that verse says, so why would you worry when you, meaning human beings, when you are greater than all of these? You are greater than the flowers. You are greater than the birds in the air. You are greater than the animals in the kingdom. You are greater than this. So if they don't worry and they're provided for, why are you worried? And that is what that whole verse says, and it's beautiful. And one last story I want to leave you with, the national park. There is an episode where there's these beetles. They show a boy beetle and a girl beetle. the insects. And the boy beetle has these really long antlers, okay? Almost looks like a deer with antlers or a big crab. And it has this little body and the antlers are massive on it. At the end of the antlers, it has sensors where it senses things, okay? And then they show the beetle walking on the ground. And then they show the girl beetle, she's up on the tree, like way really high up on the tree. And they show that the boy beetle uses the sensors at the tip of the antlers or whatever those things are, and that they can sense or smell the scent of the female, the girl beetle, even if it's so high. So the boy beetle will go out of its way and climb the entire freaking tree just to get to the girl beetle, probably to mate, right? And he said, think of it this way, that beetle climbing that tree is the equivalent to a human being climbing the height of 2 Eiffel Towers, okay? So if, for all of you manifesting your SP or a person or a relationship, if a freaking beetle is willing to climb up a whole tree, equivalent to 2 Eiffel Towers, okay, to be with that girl, right? Why can't you see yourself that way? Why can't you say to yourself, my man or my girl or my person is willing to climb up 5 Eiffel Towers just to be with me? If that beetle will do it for that girl beetle, then I'm sure, because I am greater than all of these, that my man or my girl would be willing to do that for me too. Use the beauty of nature to remind you that everything is well. You are always provided for no matter what, that you are getting what you want. Come back to a peaceful place of knowing that you are so loved, you are so adored, you are always provided for, and that your faith in the unseen, meaning whatever you see and hear within and you haven't seen it out here, that is more real than anything that you can witness on the outside. All right, my loves, I know that you found this video helpful, and I intend that it brings you peace and it brings you the feeling of having and knowing that everything is well, and that you do get whatever the hell you want because you deserve it, because you exist. The animals don't walk around saying, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm good enough. They don't walk around doing that, and they still get what the hell they want. Okay, so know that your pure existence is all that is required for you to receive and have any of your desires. All right, I love you guys. Bye.